Hello to all of my BPTV fans, YouTube fans, new fans. I'm Alan Levine, the Talking Machine. I'm doing my 22nd Talking Machine show. I have a great guest, and I'm going to let him introduce himself right now.
My name's Chuck Soviak. I was invited on the show because I wrote a book about New York City. It was a photojournalistic style. Pre-pandemic 2019, I took a trip to New York just to take street photos. And I came back and I just went through the photos probably 1,000 times, and I decided there's a book here somewhere. And the pictures started talking to me. And I felt like I was more of a dictated the words that the pictures were saying. And that's became a book. It was published middle of last year. So that's basically my story.
Chuck, that is so cool. I hope all of you stay tuned to it because I have a copy of the book. Chuck is just so kind. I made a new friend. He gave me his book, didn't know I love to read, so I'll put it on my stack of books I need to read. And just look how cool the cover is. And I got to ask some questions like, where did you grow up?
Okay, I'm from Pittsburgh. I'm a Pittsburgher through and through. Spent most of my life, except for a few months, in Pittsburgh, the Pittsburgh area, Western Pennsylvania.
Okay. What
And,
community then? You know we're all about communities.
I was born on the north side.
Okay.
And lived in Bellevue. Spent 40 years in Bellevue. And now I reside in Reserve Township.
Oh, okay. You didn't travel too far away.
No, I was in Beaver County for about 10 years, actually.
Oh,
I was in
okay.
Beaver County for a little while.
And what schools did you go to on the north side in Bellevue specifically?
I actually started first grade in Bellevue, so I went through the whole school system in Bellevue.
Oh, okay. I actually have friends that have moved to Bellevue in the last 10, 15 years. Okay. And other friends over the years.
Yeah, I go to the reunions every year, and they have all-class reunions, and it's still a close community with all the people that live there.
Sure. No, and it's nice. You know, we have so many communities that are pretty tight-knit, you know, over the years, and people don't really go out from them too often. We do travel rivers. I'm one of the few that'll cross both rivers. When you're on north side or the north, you don't want to come south. When you're south, you don't want to go north. Guess what? I travel both, and I still live in the south, right here in Bethel Park. That's my story. Now, did you play any sports? You know I'm a sports guy. I got to ask you that.
I was on the high school football team.
What position?
I wasn't on long enough to have a position. It was the toughest day of my life. Let me tell you that.
Oh, you're kidding. What made you go out for it?
I was on, I thought I could get chicks.
Okay.
You know, I thought it was cool to be a football player. And so I was on a football team for one day, and I'm thinking, it was August 1st, full uniform, sweating all over the place.
Right.
And I'm thinking, I'm going to go swimming.
This is not for me.
That wasn't for me. So I tried out for baseball, and I did play a little bit of baseball. But I was growing up in the 50s and 60s, baseball was all around you. So just about every kid had some baseball in their blood.
No, I'm with you. Baseball is my first love. Yeah. I actually played baseball successfully, became a good pitcher.
Oh, yeah.
And I became the starting center on the football team. I remember those hot Augusts in the 70s because I graduated in 74. Yeah. So we had a lot of hot August days. Yeah. And I wanted to quit many times, but I just stuck it out. Yeah. And no, that's interesting stories. And did you go to college?
I went to technical school.
Oh, okay. Which one?
I went to Gateway Tech. It's no longer there. Okay. For drafting, so I was in drafting engineering, pretty much my whole career.
No, that's interesting. I wanted to be an architectural engineer.
Okay.
So I took drafting in high school and accelerated classes. Yeah. And people know my story. I was supposed to go to Juniata College, be an architectural engineer, and play small college football. Yeah. My dad told me the first week that I graduated, I could work at the Pittsburgh Press, 1974, part-time. And that changed my whole career. I got hired 6 months later and had 36 years there.
Wow.
So that's a whole different story.
Yeah.
But I did play football.
Okay.
And I still love baseball today. And we talked a little before. As you guys know, I talk a lot, but I ask questions and I listen. And Chuck piqued my interest with saying something about the Clemente Museum, and you were doing something there.
For the Manchester Craftsmen's Guild.
Oh, okay.
I was volunteering with them.
With them. I misunderstood.
And I was setting up field trips to the museum.
Oh, to the Clemente Museum.
Yeah, to the museum. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then you met Dwayne Reeder and.
I actually didn't get a chance to meet him, but I would
okay.
like to. But I know who he is. And
no, it's a small
very,
world
very
in
well
Pittsburgh.
known, yeah.
Yeah, and it's a great place, and I'll bet the kids loved it there.
Oh yeah, they had a great time.
And Roberto's still revered to this day.
Very much. I used to see him. I belonged to the YMCA in Bellevue.
Yeah.
And they had what they called a knot holder club, and it was.
I remember it.
It was like so cool. Every home game after you got out of school for the summer, every home game on Saturdays, there was a bus that would pull up in front of the Y. Your mother would pack a bag lunch. You were allowed to take food into the
right in the ballpark.
Forbes Field, into the ballpark, and you would see all the home games that the Pirates played.
No,
so
I had a
and
guest.
we sat in right field, and I got to see Clemente play.
I had a guest, John Sarapere, that told that story on one of my Pittsburgh Sportsline shows.
Okay.
And I said, I
was so much
remember it.
fun.
I never
Yeah.
was part of it.
Yeah.
And I just heard so many great stories about it that people remember
Yeah.
today.
Yeah.
And it's just so cool that we have great memories like that.
Yeah.
And between us, we weren't worried about who the owner was. We
No,
enjoyed
we
the
didn't.
players
It was
on the
game.
field.
And you knew, if you knew the players because they never left.
Yeah.
They
Well,
stayed there. You knew who they were.
Without
And it
Curt
was
Flood, the reserve clause would have still been in effect, and the players weren't reaping rewards.
Yeah.
Now they reap
Yeah.
too much, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But it changes so much, and whether it's good or bad, I don't know. It was good and better for players because look at how their wages were held down.
At one point, yeah, even in the 70s, it was still pretty bad.
No, it was, and that's when Curt Flood made the move and broke the ice.
Yeah, they still needed part-time jobs or summer jobs or winter
I
jobs,
met
whatever
plenty
they
of
were.
baseball, football players
Yeah.
that all worked other jobs.
Yeah.
And they were superstars, some of them.
I believe reading that even Terry Bradshaw was sold cars in the off season.
Yeah. Jack Ham was selling coal.
Yeah.
And Andy Russell became a financial guy. I'm friends with him.
Oh, okay.
And he did financial deals and became a big financial guy.
Yeah.
So it's interesting things. Now, where'd you get hired? Because now you're out of the technical school. Did they set up interviews for you?
Yeah, they did, but I had jobs all over the place. I probably
Give me a
had
couple then. Where's the first
a dozen
one?
jobs. My first job was on a survey crew. And
survey crew?
So I went on a survey crew. I didn't want to sit at a drawing board
You're
all
like
day.
George Washington. He surveyed most of Pittsburgh.
Pretty much.
How'd I do?
That's right. That's a bit of trivia not everybody knows.
I read history, and 1758, Pittsburgh
Yeah.
was founded.
Yeah, but I did that, and I felt that the weather was not conducive.
You were looking for the swimming pool again.
I was looking for the swimming pool.
I got to
I was
ask, were
looking
you a
for
good
comfort.
swimmer?
I still swim. I swam yesterday.
You look in good
I
shape.
swim 2 or 3 days a week. Yeah.
No, that is great.
Yeah.
You do look in good
Yeah.
shape, so
That's
I
all we did in the
appreciate
summertime is swim. I didn't realize I was building a skill, but
that. Yeah,
yeah,
it was
But I
fun.
did. It was when you're
And you
having
were looking
fun.
to meet chicks.
And I was looking at me checks. There was more at the pool than on the football field. It was not on the football field actually.
Well, during games there were.
They're during games.
They
But
were
you
called
you would be
cheerleaders.
on the field, they'd be off the field.
They,
I'm thinking
they were cheerleaders.
my rationalization wasn't working out at that point. So
Okay, so now you go through a dozen jobs.
Yeah.
Where'd you end up and work the most?
I worked at Equitable Gas.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
it's a great
and
company.
I got a second career. I stayed in the engineering department, but I went back to school. I was in my 40s.
Yeah,
I went back to night school and got an associate degree in computer management.
you're kidding. So in your 40s,
So yeah,
you learn these computers that are in our phone.
I'm always learning something.
Are you?
Yeah,
You've got an open mind.
I'm always reinventing myself. That's why at 70 years old I wrote a book.
God bless you. You only got me by 4.5, so
Okay.
I'm trying to gain on you. I don't want to catch it because I want you to stay alive. No, but I have an open mind. And look, you wanted to be on my show. You want to say hi to your wife and daughter and grandkids?
Hi, Barb. Hi, Rachel, Hannah, and Tyler.
And you're the first father-daughter combination to be on the Alan Levine, the Talking Machine show. So congratulations. Show number 22.
Yeah.
Rachel spoke highly of you, and she loves that you're going to be on the show. So we don't want to disappoint her.
I sure hope not.
No, you're doing pretty good right now, definitely. So when did you retire?
I retired in early of 2014.
Okay.
Yeah,
So you've been out for 8 years.
Yeah. Had a decent job. Yeah. But I realized that at some point in your life, I was getting older. I was 65.
Yeah.
Some point in your life, you have
I'm getting there.
You have to realize that it's about what you have passion for. My job was a job. It was okay. It wasn't killing me.
Well, here, I had a great paying job that was the most boring job in the world in the newspaper industry. I'm thankful that I had that career, but imagine stacking 35-pound bundles almost 1 to 2 tons every day and night.
Yeah.
So
that's...
And I had a couple hundred guys with me, and the newspapers were booming, but that is over. So I got out 11 years ago, and I decided to create something like this because I'm passionate about sports, and I'm passionate about promoting great people in Pittsburgh like you.
Oh, well, well, thank you.
So we'll carry on. Now, when you talked about passion, what was your next passion?
I've always enjoyed photography. Not always, okay.
Okay.
I have enjoyed photography for many years, maybe 50 years.
Okay.
And if I could tell you the little story how I started.
You're here to tell my friends and fans about you, so you got carte blanche.
Okay, so I was an artist. I liked art, and I was into calligraphy, lettering art. And that was
I understand calligraphy.
My passion.
A lot of people don't at this day and age.
I belonged to the Pittsburgh Calligraphy Guild, and I was really gung-ho in calligraphy. I did the Artists in Action at the Three Rivers Arts Festival.
You're kidding. That is great.
So I
used to go to the art festival when they first started because the Post-Gazette was right in the middle of it.
It was right there, yeah.
In our lunch hours, we'd go there, and I'd work at night. We'd get the last, little bit of shows and different things out there. Yeah. Great memories.
So, that was my thing at the time. This was the early 70s, and I had a really, really good friend. He was 20 years my senior.
Okay.
And his name was Paul. He has since passed, I regret not being able to share this with Paul because he moved away and we lost touch.
Yeah.
But anyhow, Paul was passionate about 35 millimeter photography.
Wow.
And I wasn't. It was too technical for me. It was like, but he would bring his camera out. We'd sit on his porch, and he'd show me apertures and shutter speeds and depths of fields. And I'm thinking, I'm rolling my eyes. This is way too much. I just want to know where to dip the ink for my pen, and I'm good to go.
Sure. But being an artist, most artists I know have a good eye for doing things and taking photos, let alone their paintings.
It goes hand in hand. You can use...
I've noticed that.
There's transferable skills.
Right.
There's a lot of transferable skills in that.
So you're transferring the skills.
Yeah.
And when did this camera become part of your hand?
I didn't go
right away.
Lightly. But after so many times, I loved my friend Paul, and I enjoyed being with him. This was his passion. He was showing me, and eventually it was starting to click. And so I wasn't ready to bite the bullet and actually go out and buy equipment.
Yeah.
But I remember my dad had a 35 millimeter camera.
Wow, what a break.
He used to take pictures. He was a photographer when I was a kid growing up, but I never learned that from him. I would set up the slide projector. He would show the family slides.
You didn't have the interest.
But for some reason, like even with Paul, it wasn't clicking until. But I knew my dad had that camera.
It wasn't your time.
It wasn't my time, exactly.
Yeah.
And so I asked my dad about that camera. I said, "You still have that camera?" And he did. And the camera he got, my dad was a World War II vet.
Yeah.
And he served in Europe under Patton.
Thanks for his service.
And when he, at the end of the war, he came back with an Exacta German-made 1937
Those
camera.
were great cameras,
It
I've
came
heard.
from a German Nazi prisoner.
Yeah.
So
The German technology with cameras, I heard, was super.
There was a history behind that camera, and
Wow.
the shutter still works on it.
Still?
It still works.
Do you use it?
No, but I'm dying to get I may run out and buy a roll of film tonight just to take some pictures.
I'm glad I
with it.
pumped you
But
up.
you did. But that's how it started, and it took us several more years, and I decided to bite the bullet, and I got my own camera.
Yeah,
It
and
led
here's
into
the
having a
thing.
dark
Did you
room.
just start experimenting, taking pictures, or did you read books to do things, or what did you do?
I read books. I talked
Yeah.
to people. And
Because you were saying like you read books.
I was seriously thinking about professionally, like full time.
Right.
And
Well, it's another career you're
yeah.
looking at.
One man told me, he says, save your money on classes and just put it into film. He says, take pictures.
Just do it.
Just do it. And
Wow. Like
and
Nike,
so,
just do
yeah,
it.
just do it. And so
What a tip.
it wasn't a career with me, but I did so many tremendous things. Shot weddings
Oh, did you?
for a while, yeah, and went to Costa Rica on a mission trip, and I photo
Oh,
documented
you're
that.
kidding. That is great.
And so I did a number of things, and
How about family pictures?
Rachel does those. Rachel takes the family pictures.
I just had to ask.
I
No, Rachel's good at everything
Yeah.
she does. She's amazing.
does,
I'm glad
yeah.
we're friends. She's just a superstar.
If you know the subject, you're going to take good pictures, and she takes tons of pictures of her kids,
Yeah.
and they're great.
Well,
They're
she's
great.
passionate about them.
She is, absolutely.
I've seen that.
Yeah.
And her daughter has some artistic skills that are
Amazing.
off. Hannah's amazing.
Way above what I ever had. I thought
Yeah.
I was good, but
Right.
she was
and
really
and
good.
at her age, it's
Yeah.
all up. It's
Yeah,
all up
it
there
is,
for her.
absolutely.
No, that is
She wants to
great.
do it.
Hey, we
Okay.
talked enough. Let's talk about the book.
Okay, let's do it.
How did this come about?
Well, as I was saying earlier, that I was in New York
No, you
City.
can go beyond. Yeah,
Okay.
we got that.
But I guess it was the beginning of the pandemic because this was the photos were taken in one weekend in May of 2019.
Okay, yeah.
That was just before
all the shutdowns.
our world was transformed once again, and just going through that, there was a quiet time in those pages because that was pre-pandemic, and during the lockdown in the early stages of the pandemic, when we couldn't go out, we couldn't go anywhere, didn't do anything.
Right.
I have a part-time job that wasn't going on. I had all this time.
Did you go by yourself?
I did. I wasn't supposed to.
Okay.
There was a friend who was supposed to go with me at the last minute.
Yeah,
He
because that
had-
just popped up in my mind.
He had family obligations. If I
Yeah.
went with somebody, I wouldn't have got those pictures.
That's what I was going to ask.
No. There's something that puts you into the environment when you're alone.
And this is your first time.
This was my first time. It
And
was my,
let me show the first picture. We'll see if my camera crew can get this first picture. And can you tell us about the first picture?
Okay, the first picture, actually, when I got off the bus in New York, that was, all the pictures aren't shot necessarily chronologically, but this one is. I got off the bus in Chelsea, and that was the Chelsea Hotel.
How apropos.
Very, lot of history there.
Famous.
With Andy Warhol, and he
Our
shot some
local
movies
guy.
in
You're
there.
dropping names. I like that.
Absolutely, yeah. And so that's kind of just leading into no people yet, but it's really all about people.
No, that is so
it
cool.
was just kind of like piquing an interest that there's.
Chuck, I'm going to take charge here. And
Absolutely,
you
sure.
saw me put little Post-its here.
Yeah.
And this was the first picture that struck me.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I'll let
Yeah.
my camera guy do his thing right now.
Okay. You want me
Tell
to talk
us about it. Yes.
I'm
interested about
maybe
you.
similar with what's in the book, but I saw this homeless man with tons and tons and tons of stuff,
Yeah.
and my eyes just like opened up, and I'm looking at this guy, but I was very hesitant about taking his picture. Usually,
Did you talk to him?
I did not.
Okay.
The biggest regret I have is not having a conversation.
I would have
with that
liked to
man.
talk to him. Yeah.
I did not, and I'm sorry I did, but
He looks like an interesting character.
But the point of that story is, some people said, well, isn't that exploitive? I says, no, it's not.
Yeah.
I says, some people need to know. Some people need to see the other side and not all the glitz and glamour. That's
Well,
somebody's
let me
life.
interrupt
Sure.
you. Like with the phones and Facebook, people are putting out a lot of fake stuff that everything's wonderful.
Yeah.
There's good and
Yeah.
bad in everything.
Yeah.
Like, tell me one person that hasn't had something bad happen in their life.
Yeah.
This man could have just been going through that.
And actually, I see myself there, because we can all see ourselves, because he's carrying baggage, and we all carry baggage. And
Very apropos.
And I was that's what I was getting from that, the baggage that we carry. That it's, he's sitting there resting, but he has to take all this stuff with him, and we tend to do that too.
Yeah.
When we need to keep our baggage, get rid of it.
Yes.
And
Just look
looking
what
like
we
that.
put in our houses.
Exactly.
All right. Well,
Exactly.
thank you for that, and I appreciate your passion on that.
Yeah.
We'll show this one because this is a legendary place.
Grand Central
Yes,
Station.
you,
Now,
you prelude that. so-
well, I was just leading up into more of the people, so I wanted an overall view shot of just the, I guess, the energy of New York City,
Sure.
the energy of
Because the hustle bustle, they
yeah.
always talk about people just zipping
there-
around.
There's the energy, and I didn't see anything negative there, with all people talking about how busy it is and how fast paced.
Chuck, this caught
thought it
my
was
eye.
awesome.
I enjoy
Amazing.
the different levels, and I love the big windows. I've seen that in movies and things over the years.
Okay.
So I appreciate it more than you know, and your explaining that helps. And then I didn't tag this one, but I just like this.
Oh, this guy.
Explain that.
He did not know I was taking this picture. A lot of people did not know I was taking their picture. Some I did. Some I
Yeah.
asked. Some I didn't. Some
Right.
I asked later.
And
You know,
you're
it all
walking around the
depends.
city.
Yeah.
You're walking around, so
Yeah.
you're just randomly taking what clicks.
What I say, I had no agenda, absolutely no agenda. There was a lot of racial balance in the pictures, but
Yes.
it was by accident. It was just people. I was looking at individuals that really struck me. He was helping out at I think he's part of the Metro.
Yeah, the MTA, yeah.
And he was actually helping, kind of like an advisor, an assistant. He was
Supervising, yeah.
helping, very, very involved in the tourists and the people that came by. And he talked with them, and I thought, wow, he just seemed like a really genuine, gentle, caring human being. And I thought, I want
Right.
to take his picture.
No, that's so cool. Well, this is towards the back of the book, and then we'll get to your favorite one. But this one
Okay.
just caught my eye. I love the busyness
Just-
of it,
Just
and
a
the
low
traffic.
angle shot of Times Square.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Legendary Times Square.
Kind of self-explanatory. It's just
You liked it.
traffic, just the traffic going through Times Square, and that's. I originally wanted to stay away from touristy stuff,
Yeah.
but I'm thinking, if you're in Manhattan, you're not going to do that. That's not going to happen.
Good
what
point.
was I thinking? You
Well, yeah, you were trying to
don't
be
go
innocent about
you don't
it.
go to a football game and try to stay away from the fans, do you?
No.
Okay, it's sort of the same thing in New York.
You know what?
So-
You're making a lot of good sense here, Chuck. We're going to let you carry on. Now, I always ask people, like, what's the best thing in their book that they like? And this is about photos. So I asked, here's one at the end. Let's get this.
Yeah, I thought that was just a cool.
I know
shot.
it's a cool shot for the back cover.
Yeah, and so if it's laying down backwards, I think it would draw people's attention to want to look at it, because there's really no story behind it. I just like the artistic.
Well, I appreciate the
juxtaposition.
eye you have for taking pictures. It's very good. And I want to put this title up to get it. Tell them the name of your book again.
The book is Impressions of New York.
And where can they get this?
Amazon. You can get it from Amazon.
Okay. And how much does it cost?
$30.
There you go, folks. Please help Chuck
It's
out.
it's on photographic paper, so it's heavy, hard quality. It's spiral bound by design also, so the book can lay flat. And
Hold it. I'm thinking of coffee table book.
It could be. It could be.
How about that? Look, I got the coffee table right
the owner
here.
Can define it how he or she
I'm
wants.
suggesting the Alan Levine Talking Machine Guess Coffee Table book.
Well,
with
there's one on my
Impressions
coffee
by
table.
New York. Yes, if you have one. Now, I asked you about your favorite picture, and we must be on a subliminal level because he had this framed, and we'll get you there. Just hold it up so the camera can get a close up of you, and that's his favorite pick of the book, and I love it. What happened there? What is it?
Okay, I've always had a fascination with reflections. I like to take pictures of things that people go past every day but never see.
How about even the river, the reflections in our rivers?
River, puddles.
I figured you'd be interested in that.
Yeah,
How'd I do?
I'm a puddle taker, but
Let alone a puddle jumper.
but yeah. But that was taken in Macy's department store.
Oh, at Macy's.
And there was several pictures I did of mannequins and just I call it people without a pulse. And there was mannequins in there. Just
hold it. We got to do this. Sorry, Anthony. I'm mixing you up a little with camera work. Here's part of what Chuck was saying. We'll do one there, and then we have another page of it with the Statue of Liberty in it.
Yeah.
So I'll tease you with that. Look what else we got here. Anthony, get a nice shot of this for Chuck. Look at his photos.
Yeah. The Statue of Liberty was, didn't have a chance to actually visit it, but I found hundreds of them.
And he found one. He
and
found one here.
Every gift shop had hundreds of them, so I didn't have to go to the Statue of Liberty.
What a break!
Yeah, it was. I was like, who would have thought there would be that many?
No, this is just great. You got me excited about this book. I'll go through the whole thing a couple times, and you've put some different. I'll take that back so you're comfortable.
Okay.
We got less than 2 minutes to go. So this is very impressive. You also have put some things in there in quotes by people and quotes by yourself.
Yes, I
wanted to touch on that.
A very avid reader, and there's some quotes by Leonardo da Vinci and Victor Hugo.
Nice.
That kind of
they tie in.
It's all tied in. It's a story about living in the moment.
And this is your whole thing that you just wanted to show what your first impression of New York was.
Yeah. I'll never be able to do it again.
No, and how many photos did you take?
Boy.
Give me a rough estimate. 100?
400 or 500 maybe.
500?
Yeah.
No, because I know it's a process. Any photographer I know, I've been to boxing matches and they go, I've taken 2,000 pictures.
Yeah.
And they need 10.
Yeah, exactly.
So it happens. No, I appreciate your skills. I want to thank you for being a great guest, Chuck.
Thank you for asking me here.
Oh, you're welcome. Well, you suggested it after you saw Rachel's show, and I'm easy like that.
Okay.
And I had a couple people miss out that I was trying to schedule for this, and they didn't make it, so that's your fortune. And any last word that you have?
I just want to thank everybody, and go to Amazon, check the book out, and there's a little blurb about me. There's a little bit about a synopsis of the book, and I would suggest it's a cool book.
And
I wouldn't put it out there if it wasn't.
And that's why he's here. Thank all of you for your great feedback and watching our shows. This was our 22nd Talking Machine show. Stay tuned for a couple weeks from now with the next show.